up superstar AD carry.
Thank you very much, Trevor. Indeed, joined here by Uzi after RNG secures that spot in the quarterfinal. Uzi, what of a relief is it that you guys made it here after you had to play that do or die match? When did you feel the momentum changing in this match?
你们今天打的是起伏的很不定嘛，然后呢，就是今天最后一场也是生死战。你们今天赢了这场之后呢，对你来说是一个多大的放松？然后你什么时候发现说你们可以翻盘赢的呢？
首先能赢非常开心，然后也出现了嘛，因为今天我们的状态说实话不是特别好，在前面2场比赛也是，就是给人的感觉就是已经被淘汰了吧，就最后一场能够找回状态，非常的开心。
So we're really happy that we actually made it out of group stage today, because our team wasn't really in the best condition to play today. And after our first 2 games, everyone saw that we're probably already heading home, but we won. We won.
Well, you mentioned it there. It was do or die. Why do you think the group stage was so up and down for your team?
Sorry.
Why do you think the group stage was so up and down for their team?
他刚刚也说，你之前也提到说你们今天这场是生死战吗？你觉得你们在小组中为什么打得这么艰辛呢？
就首先可能就我们小组的其他队伍也非常的强，然后我们的状态也没有就是保持到很好吧，就可能中途出现了点失误什么，就会导致我们后面就打得没有往常那么好。
So first of all, I think all the teams in my group, they're really strong teams. And personally for our team, we just weren't at a very consistent performing stage. We weren't really in this right mental state. So we made a lot of mistakes in game, and that's why we had Yusa.
Yes. Well, RNG now has time to recoup and go into the quarterfinals. Uzi, you have a huge legacy already at Worlds, 2-time semi-finalist. How big is the hunger and the pressure on you personally to go far here at Worlds?
你本身你亲自已经来过了，就是世界总决赛2场，反正都打到了总决赛嘛。然后今年对你来说的话，你想要走多远呢？
非常能够就是继续进总决赛，因为如果就是再进总决赛的话，就是连续3次，也就是非常好的一个就是成绩吧，就非常的开心会。
First off, I want to definitely make it into the finals, because then I would be in finals for 3 times already, and that is a really good score for any player.
Yeah, good previous place. It is indeed 3 times finalists. That would happen, but you guys are through to the quarterfinals. Congratulations, Uzi, and congratulations, RNG, making it through here out of Group D.
Thank you, Shocks. A smile on Uzi's face, and much deserved as they make it through here in this last game to grab that 2nd seed for the group. But gentlemen, I mean, what a game, because surprisingly back and forth based on the way it started. But we have to start in Champ Select, where it really looked like that Aurelion Sol pick threw TSM off.
Yeah, and I personally have been attacking RNG almost all day for some of the pick and ban phases, lack of flexibility and so on. I didn't believe in Xiaohu going into this game, but him getting Aurelion Sol and actually having saved that. This was the first time he's ever played that champion in a professional match, so he's clearly saved it for a very, very important moment. He's using it right now, and if you have a struggling mid laner, give him a pick like Aurelion Sol so he can impact other lanes, and he did. He played such a good game on this Aurelion Sol.
They had a great game plan. Start on the top side, go to the bottom with the pushing lane. 2 pushing lanes as we were talking about before. Control the blue buff and just put all the pressure to the bottom lane. Eventually, TSM just could not handle the pressure. They stuck around a little too long. They refused to give up the bottom lane. And from that point on, RNG just played a pretty clean game to finish the game off.
Yeah, one of the things about the pick and ban phase that was so surprising for me was that Bjergsen was not on a pushing mid laner. And this tournament alone, every time Bjergsen hasn't been able to shove in the lane and roam and assist his team's always gotten pulverized in the early stages. And one of the weird things for me is, even though we saw Rise into Aurelion Sol earlier on, I think Twisted Fate is one of the missing picks at this Worlds against Aurelion, because not only can he shove to match Aurelion, he can also match his roams pretty strong.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we saw that lack of ability to follow in the very first replay, which only comes 7 minutes into the game. Triple kill for Uzi in the bot lane, but based on the fact that Xiaohu was able to continually push that mid lane.
And this is basically everything they were building towards with the pick and ban phase, going Nami as well to that, pushing bot lane. Here he roams down, and it's such a good play. First kill comes in, and then here Svenskeren doesn't see the cocoon over the wall, so he doesn't flash it, and that means he has to flash after, and he's now too low to really do anything. And even the last auto attack gets double lift, so really well played by RNG. And a few key moments there for TSM where each player probably will look back at that one replay and be like, if I just risked it, if I saw the cocoon, I would have flashed it. That one auto attack as well on double lift. Super, super close, but honestly, super well played.
Yeah, after that moment, you just got to pour one out for TSM. That was, after that moment, just RNG moved across the map, 4-man unit everywhere, and there's nothing you could do with that composition like what they had. It's very difficult to find a team fight that you can actually win, and they were able to pull one off, but it's not enough.
But here's the thing, we still had a game, LS, and now I want to kind of identify how it was that TSM was able to keep themselves in it here. And of course, it all started with Bjergsen on that rise.
Yeah, I mean, the TSM's team fighting was really immaculate, and I think that RNG really got overzealous with a lot of their team fights, especially in the bottom lane later on. In Haunter's Jace, even though it wasn't really going off, he did have a pretty big CS advantage, and so that was something that they could have relied on moving into the mid and late game. And honestly, RNG did look a little bit shaky. Had they not RNG'd 3 Mountain Drakes and got the Baron, I don't know if this game turns out the way that it did. I think TSM could have pulled it out through team fights.
I think it is important to highlight Hansel like you just did, because while he had like 0-3 or 1-3 score in the end, he got so many towers in the side lanes, and that is still one of the big problems for RNG is they go for this poppy pick so often, they just surrender top lane completely, and while, yes, you're winning on the bottom side, if the enemy top lane is 50 CS up, is already taking a tower, that's a lot of extra gold you give to someone who is behind in the bottom lane. So it is a problem for RNG, definitely, but because they played so well around Uzi, and with, of course, Xiaohu roaming, they actually got a big enough advantage from that.
All right, well, now I want to take a look at that base defense put together by TSM. This ace brought to you by Acer here. It's what made the game really close and gave our fans a little bit of hope.
Just keep your eye on Bjergsen, flashing the Aurelion Soul ultimate combo with the knockup from Svenskeren. He's going to be able to dish out so much damage, and as soon as the carry goes down for RNG, you know that TSM can win this fight because the carries are untouched. And this is the fight that you were really hoping that TSM could do something out of it. They were able to push down mid lane, get 2 turrets, and really shrink that gold lead.
It is not often you have 5 members standing right next to each other, and you just have all your carries positioned just around them. Even Hans on Jace was down the bottom of your screen, shooting from one side, Bjergsen from another one, double it from a third angle. That was just perfect, you know, just hammer everything in that little corner. It worked for that one fight. Sadly, they were too far behind.
That's the thing. You only get that fight once a game at most, usually, where everything's positioned perfectly. But now I want to push us ahead to the game winner because ultimately RNG was able to hold on to their victory. The Mountain Drake's doing a huge job in helping them secure those Barons so they could make pushes like this.
Yeah, this was the final endgame siege, and they went for a little bit of mistiming there, trying to get Rek'Sai into the back to knock up, but without Rek'Sai going down so early or him getting removed from the fight, you don't really have a way to peel against RNG's team comp, and they just bulldoze through, and at this point, the gold leads too much. They have too many items over TSM.
Yeah, and also, I think RNG's composition just is better in these late-game team fights. The fact that TSM managed to win some was, you know, credit to them, but also maybe some criticism towards RNG in the late game, wanting a little bit too much in these fights. Because the way this fight was started was kind of the only way to engage for TSM. Normally their composition is built around having like Ryze in one lane, Jace in another one, and they push up and like flank in. They could never do that because they were so far behind.
And now, Crumbs, we had some discussion here on the desk about who to give player of the game to, and we're like, well, is it Xiaohu for showing up with this pick? Or after seeing the damage graphs there, Uzi, over 42k damage for his team. That's insane. That's who it's going to go to this time around. And, I mean, all were set off by that early triple kill.
And absolutely, while Xiaohu enabled him, he was able to do so much with the resources, and that was the story for Uzi coming into the tournament. The guy gets all the gold, and he's able to put it all to perfect use. And with the zone control from the Aurelion Soul, with the Poppy on top of it, and Nami to heal him and keep him protected, how are you going to get to him with a comp like that? And he makes it work, and that's what you want to see out of a superstar player.
Yeah, the other thing about it is, even though they were up against three sources of physical damage, he actually went Trinity Force. And so Uzi's build was really accelerated off of that triple kill, and the Trinity Force just makes him that much more slippery to try to handle inside of team fights. And again, you know, pointing out TSM's team composition, they don't have a way to get to the backline.
Well, RNG prevails, and another Chinese team moves on to the quarterfinals. With Group D's games completed, we're sending 2 more quarterfinalists on to the next round. Group A, Rocks Tigers and Albus Nox are going to Chicago. Group B plays their final matches tomorrow. SKT and Cloud9 hold the lead currently. H2K and Edward Gaming are the winners of Group C. Samsung Galaxy and Royal Never Give Up will move on from Group D and head to that knockout stage. Now our final group battles it out for the remaining quarterfinal slots tomorrow. Tune in at 1 p.m. Pacific time as IMA takes on Flash Wolves. Now the 4 teams in Group B will each play their 3 remaining games tomorrow. Any ties that remain at the end of the day will be played immediately out in tiebreakers. And right after the last Nexus falls, we'll have our quarterfinal draw live on stage. So clear your calendar because you won't want to miss that. All right, gentlemen, looking forward to tomorrow's matches. Key matchups that you're looking at, teams that you're looking to make a surge and maybe make a statement game.
I think Cloud9 against Flash Wolves is really what it's going to come down to. SKT looks like a clear favorite in this group, even though they did drop that game into the Flash Wolves. They did say they felt like they got lucky by taking that win off the game or out of SKT, and just whoever can really get that head-to-head in that matchup will likely see a similar result to what we just saw today.
Yeah, I completely agree with Crumbs. I think it all comes down to Flash Wolves versus Cloud9. I feel like SK Telecom is the clear favorite to get first out of this group, and it's really just going to come down to that battle in mid lane, Jensen versus Maple.
I look at Flash Wolves SKT, because I think Flash Wolves can actually beat them again. They really understand how to play against them because it's all about Maple and Kasa. They can camp Faker, who always plays a little bit over-aggressive, take to find, because they would have to beat SKT themselves, and that obviously didn't work last time. So we might be in a situation where 3 teams once again are really fighting for the top 2 spots. I may, sadly, not expecting anything.
All right, and if the last 3 days are proof of anything, it's that we know nothing. So that's going to do it for us here on the Analyst Desk. Stick around for another edition of Worlds Tonight featuring Shox, Jat, and Freak. Now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We did